Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into the latest wave of headlines swirling around Sarah Ferguson and Prince Andrew, two names that never seem to leave the royal spotlight for long. New details, renewed public pressure, and what sources say may be increased involvement from the royal family have sparked a fresh round of questions about Andrew's future, Fergie's surprising resurgence, and what all of this means for the monarchy moving forward. If you're ready to unpack the newest twists in this ongoing royal saga, let's get into it. It seems like every few months, a new revelation jolts Prince Andrew back into the headlines. Even after stepping down from royal duties in 2019 and reaching a legal settlement in 2022, the storm surrounding him never fully settles. And now, as conversations spark once again about his role, his finances, and the future of his public identity, the royal family's behind-the-scenes position has become a topic of intense interest. What's particularly striking is how every fresh report seems to revive unanswered questions about his lifestyle, his funding, and his long-term place within the monarchy. Despite living largely out of the spotlight, Andrew continues to attract scrutiny from the public and the press, especially when new financial details or legal angles resurface. Moreover, insiders suggest that the palace is treading extremely carefully, balancing the desire to protect the institution with the need to distance the monarchy from controversy. This delicate line has led to ongoing discussions about how Andrew fits into King Charles's vision of a slimmed-down royal family. Supporters argue that he deserves privacy and the chance to rebuild his life, while critics insist that the public has a right to transparency, especially where taxpayer funds may be involved. And as these debates continue, one thing becomes clear: whatever happens next, Prince Andrew's name will not be fading from public conversation anytime soon. One of the biggest points of discussion centers on Andrew's living situation. His long-term residence at Royal Lodge, a sprawling property he shares with Sarah Ferguson, has been a subject of speculation for months. Reports suggest ongoing tensions between Andrew's desire to remain at the lodge and the monarchy's push to streamline royal properties and expenses. While no formal statement has been issued, royal insiders continue to suggest that moves are being discussed at the highest levels. Sarah Ferguson's presence in this story is impossible to ignore. Once criticized heavily by the press, Fergie has been experiencing something of a renaissance: public goodwill, media sympathy, and even admiration for her open battle with health challenges. In fact, her renewed popularity is becoming a striking contrast to Andrew's diminished public role. This contrast is fueling new commentary about whether the royal family views Fergie as a stabilizing presence or an unpredictable wildcard in this delicate situation. What makes matters even more intriguing is how Fergie has continued to speak publicly through interviews, her podcast, and charity appearances while still living under the same roof as Andrew. Her warm, upbeat approach is connecting with audiences, but every time she mentions home life or family dynamics, it renews questions about how closely aligned she remains with Andrew behind the scenes. Some royal watchers believe her increased visibility complicates the monarchy's efforts to keep Andrew out of the spotlight. Others believe she is quietly helping guide this turbulent chapter. Of course, the larger issue is the royal family's public image. With the king focusing on stability, medical challenges within the family intensifying public sympathy, and younger royals stepping up into new roles, the presence of old controversies threatens to distract from efforts to modernize the institution. The monarchy is under pressure from the press, from the public, and even from commentators overseas to maintain clarity about who represents the crown and who does not. And that brings us to the biggest development circulating across royal reporting: claims that senior members of the royal family are increasingly determined to ensure that Andrew does not return to public duties in any form. While Andrew has long wished for reinstatement, insiders say this is highly unlikely, and that the family's tone on the matter has grown firmer. Any narrative about a comeback appears to clash with the direction the monarchy is heading. Add to this the ongoing financial questions. With royal funding under scrutiny and property-related disagreements making headlines, the conversation around how Andrew will support himself in the future continues to gain heat. Royal Lodge, in particular, has become a symbol for the broader debate about responsibility, boundaries, and the evolving rules of the royal family. Then there's Fergie's role in all of it: loyal, outspoken, unpredictable, and yet increasingly embraced by the public. Her cancer battles have shaped media coverage in a way that highlights resilience, not scandal. And as she grows more comfortable sharing her voice, Many wonder whether her rise signals that the public views her separately from Andrew, something the palace may be watching carefully. And amid all this, global political personalities, including former President Donald Trump, have occasionally expressed opinions about the monarchy or specific royal controversies. While these comments don't directly impact the royal family's decisions, they do add international noise to an already complicated situation, something the palace traditionally prefers to avoid. Still, at the center of this story is a simple but powerful truth. The royal family is trying to move forward, but the past keeps echoing. Andrew wants a role. The monarchy wants stability. Fergie wants to speak. And the public wants answers. Every new detail, every leaked conversation, every shift in tone from the palace reminds the world that the Andrew-Fergie dynamic continues to be a critical pressure point for the monarchy. And while much of the decision-making remains private, the tension between public sentiment and royal protocol is becoming more visible than ever. So what happens next? Will Andrew remain at Royal Lodge? Will Fergie's rising popularity influence how the royal family manages this chapter? Will the monarchy draw sharper boundaries or try to quietly navigate the path forward? At this point, everything indicates that the royal family is intervening in subtle but firm ways, managing property, shaping public narratives, and making decisions designed to protect the monarchy's long-term stability. The next moves may not be dramatic, but they will be significant. And no matter how the story unfolds, one thing is clear. The saga of Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson remains one of the most complex, emotional, and unpredictable threads in the modern history of the royal institution. Thanks for watching. If you found this deep dive interesting, make sure to like the video, subscribe for more royal breakdowns, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Share your thoughts in the comments. What do you think the royal family's next move will be? Until next time, thanks for tuning in.